Twister, Barrage still up, and we can go, and then do the last like that and destroy both screens. That's crazy, because we hit Barrage and do this Tornado, and we don't see elite enemy again. In boss of Exile 2, Ice Tornado Huntress melts screens right after the campaign. She shreds bosses, clears fasts, and I made this combo simple, thanks to some smart allocation of nodes on passive skill tree. Hi, I'm Spot, and if your Ice Tornado feels weak, clunky or hard to combo, you're not alone. I've built this Huntress to be a screen-clearing storm that anyone can play. It won't be too complex, and you won't need to stress about gear too much. I played it solo still found, and you can just pick it and invoke pure destruction with the right setup. Here's the plan. I'll show you the skill setup, right combinations and tricks that make it feel smooth. The passive tree that will instantly multiply our damage output. So buckle up, Huntress players, it's time to unleash the storm. Combo timing is important, because mess it up and your tornadoes is basically decorations. Just like that, we can't even destroy monsters in Act 1 Cruel. But with the right combination we can do it, it's insanely fast and just one-shot everyone, over here or even in the map. Oh my goodness. So, whenever we do this circle tornado, we can stay in it forever. We will gain rage at the same time, and whenever we hit enemies in mid range we also get a more rage. We make one more spin, tornado is bigger, one more spin, it's bigger again. We throw down these awesome twisters and they go roam and destroy everyone. The coolest part, if you hold move button and you're moving with tornado, you actually move like that, so you don't need even to stop. What you need to care about is your mana regeneration, and to have it right, I got this mana potion that gives me more regeneration while on low mana. Basically, I'm using all my mana, I'm hitting this life flask, then hitting tornado, and again. So that's how full combination works with the life flask. Another big tip how to improve your gameplay and improve your combinations: if you're going with 3 tornadoes, then shooting your ice ball basically to make it a cold tornado, and then making twisters everywhere. The big problem, you're actually adding one more part of the combo when it's not needed. While you're running fast. When you're doing this, you're running also fast, but you can be faster when you're just running. So the idea is to always hit and shoot the ball in front of you. Shoot the ball, when your tornado touches this ice pass, basically it will become Ice Tornado. Then you can just throw twisters and do wherever you like. If you're doing combo like that, it will be a little bit more slower, especially with slower attack speed. So always the ball first, then run, and then shoot. And that's why I got persistence on my barrage. So basically we can shoot the ball, barrage, do twister, barrage still up, and we can go, and then do the last like that and destroy both screens. That's crazy. As I told you, we're using lots of mana flasks, so just I'm now spending all of them, and we just do a few range attacks and we will replenish our life and mana flasks if needed. Mostly if I got some nice belt. So that's basically how you do it. Few hits and our flasks back. We don't need to go back to town, and we just run again and again. We can finish enemies with some range attacks if needed, and that's how your mapping will look like. And we will go on the map right now. Here's the pro tip: stand in the tornado, gain some range before you're doing everything else. You can stand in the tornado, do range attacks, and you will be fine. And build some rage, throw this ice ball, get Ice Tornado, and let's run. So we're running, destroying these guys. We don't even have time to pick up all of this, so we can go like forward. And when you see elite enemies, that's where the fun starts, because we hit barrage and do this tornado, and we don't see elite enemy again. Yeah, no elite enemies over here. Try to get some combination ready and just shoot your tornadoes. Oh my goodness, that's actually crazy. And while you hitting these guys, basically the coolest part that they will be blinded, they will be maimed, they will be slow, and you will be fast, and that's basically how you play. Oh, thanks God they added this elite. And as you can see, he got this part of his health. When we are nearby, we're doing it even faster. The combo is crazy fast, and that's how we play it. Insanely smooth, insanely easy, and without any troubles. You're just going and clearing maps. When you go on harder maps, so basically when you're going on harder maps, make sure to run away from monsters instead of running to them. But still, don't forget, we get most damage in melee range, and just like that you basically delete enemies from melee range. That's basically how we will fight bosses, but more on that in the last part of this video, of course. And funnily enough, we will start explanation from the spear throw skill. Yeah, so we get 4 support gems on it, and mostly it will be like our supportive utility ability. Support gems are simple, we got mobility over here for less movement speed penalty. Since it's range ability, we adding long shot to deal more damage to enemies who is far away from us. And main reason to have this ability is to replenish our mana from time to time, so we get mana bounty. Enemies killed with hits from supported ability will grant more mana flask charges. It actually doesn't matter too much what skills you use next, but I dropped Scatter Shot. Scatter Shot will give us basically less damage, but we fire additional projectiles. And mostly I use the skill when I need to replenish mana just to destroy a few spiders who is really easy to destroy. Now, Whirling Slash. Whirling Slash is important for us, and what it's doing basically. It performs circular slash, it creates whirlwind, we're slowing enemies, blinding enemies, but most importantly when we leave the area, this area will collapse and damage our enemies. What is most important, you can do it 3 times while you're standing still inside, and it will get bigger and bigger up to stage number 3. You will get more damage per stage, so it's basically a nice strategy to make few whirlwinds and then escape from enemies to inflict some melee damage. And that's one of the most important parts about Whirling Slash. It's melee damage, yeah, it's melee damage. So we're doing melee strike with this. It's really important for us when we go to passive skill tree, but for now we need to understand that's actually not our main skill here, it's our combo builder. We need Whirling Slash to activate a lot of tornadoes on the map. And to do it faster, of course, first support gem will be Martial Tempo. Yeah, Martial Tempo is simple and straight. You just get more attack speed, therefore you can build combos more fast. But again, I remind you, Whirling Slash is melee strike. Therefore, next supportive gem is Rage. Rage is very good because whenever you hit enemy in melee range, you will get 3 rage. 3 rage will give us more attack damage, up to 30. So we can have 30 more attack damage all the time basically when we're casting this spell in melee range and hitting enemies. And more is very magical word in passive Exile 2 because it's multiplicative addition to your damage. And coolest part, Whirling Slash basically leaves this tornado, and it actually works with our last support gem over here is Font of Rage. So Font of Rage basically gives you rage over time. You don't even need to hit enemies, you just need to stand in this Whirling Slash and you will generate rage, therefore you will generate extra bonus damage insanely fast. Now, our main bread and butter ability, Twister. So what is the Twister? Twister is basically a tornado. If you raise quality on Twisters, you will have extra chance for additional tornadoes, and it will also blind enemy, it will pierce all targets. There is duration of Twisters 3 seconds, which is enough, but most importantly it will consume whirlwinds. And every whirlwind it consumes, it creates additional Twister and deal 80% more damage. More, again, magical word, that's why we can do insane amount of damage with this whirlwind combo, but that's not it. If you make whirlwind into elemental whirlwind, and for this you just need to create some type of elemental ground, then Twisters will gain also 50% of damage as damage of the corresponding type. So we're basically doing physical damage and also 50% of elemental damage, and we're multiplying this damage a lot by doing this crazy combination. And we will work with our ice elemental type today. So Cold Infusion is the first support gem, and basically the stacks will gain 25% of damage as extra cold damage, but less fire and lightning damage. That's really important. So we basically, by using this gem, we can't use and we don't want to use a lot of extra other damage types on our weapon. So that's most important part, but more on that in the weapon section. Second supportive gem is Concentrated Effect. Concentrated Effect just gives more area damage, just 30% more damage, and that's it. And last one is Salvo. It's a new gem, and projectiles are fired in random directions. But we will fire 2 additional projectiles without basically any penalties to our damage. Yeah, we will fire in random directions, but tornadoes, as you can see, they're so crazy, they flank everywhere, we actually don't care. And whenever we're not firing projectiles all the time, we're waiting a little bit, it will accumulate seals. And we fire 2 additional projectiles per seal, so it's really important. Basically every 2 seconds we're adding seals and we can consume 3 maximum seals, so basically we can fire 6 additional projectiles, and that's insane combination, that's insane damage bonus. And before we get to support gems number level 3 basically, I was using Scatter Shot. It's also nice, it works greatly, but it basically lowers our damage output a little bit, but Salvo fixes everything. So now we need to create Ice Ground, and to do it we use Frost Bolt. You don't need it high level Frost Bolt, so that's a really important part, because Frost Bolt is elemental skill, and therefore it requires you high intelligence. We're not building intelligence as this character, we mostly like building dexterity as well as a little bit of strength, because spears will require you to have some strength. For Frostbolt you don't need a lot, you just need 1 support gem actually. Arcane Tempo is enough. To have more casting speed you want to cast it a lot faster than, and then continue with your basic damaging combinations, because this skill will be underpowered and you're not doing this to inflict any type of damage, you're just creating chilled ground in front of you. And Surface is another nice gem, because these ground surfaces will be expanded. Every second it will be expanded up to 100%. The next one is insane damage multiplier, and it's called Barrage. So Barrage, or Barrage, I guess, is a great skill, and it will empower your attacks, and basically it will give you extra projectiles. So you just press on it and fire more projectiles. That's it, you don't need any extra like information. But if you get frenzy charges, you will fire extra projectiles, a lot more extra projectiles. Right now we don't need this extra like frenzy charges for our build. We won't have spirit for it because there's a nice secret damage amplification in my gems and skills. But for Barrage we're basically going with premeditation. Skills empowered will deal 15% more damage, because normally Barrage will lower your damage output, but it will kinda counter it. As well as persistence, so I'm using persistence on Barrage because I won't have time to make my combination. Sometimes I just press Barrage and then I need to like do few twisters, then I shoot my tornadoes everywhere, so basically it's nice to have persistence. Now we're going to the spirit part of this video. So for whole campaign I used my leveling build. There's a build guide on the channel, you can check it down below in the description in pinned comment, but technically nothing changed, almost nothing changed. While I was leveling, I was using Wind Dancer to have protection. Wind Dancer is basically really good. It just gives you stages, stages gives you evasion whenever you get hit. Gale Force shoots enemies with nice attack damage. Support gems for Wind Dance is Wind Wave. Whenever we get stunned, it will knock back enemies up to 2 meters, so we get some time to recharge our stun meter and run away if needed. And also we're using Maim. So attacks will always maim. On hit it will basically slow down enemy movement. Another important support gem, it's called Blind. We want to blind enemies on hit for another extra damage and extra combination. I will explain later. Also while I was leveling I used my companion, but you can use it in Act 3, Act 4, Act 5 even, but in Act 6 you want to change to completely different and final build. For companion just use Mid Shield and Last Grasp, so he can fight a lot and help you. Use any companion you like, but here's the secret last skill. So it's the new one, Trinity. Trinity is insane, it's insane for our build and it gives us so much extra damage. You get 8% more, again magic word, elemental damage with attacks per 50% resonance. And you get in resonance when you hit enemies with your elemental damage. And the higher the level of Trinity, the more damage you will gain and the less damage you will lose, because if you hit enemies with a lot of, for example, cold damage, you will lose some fire and other types of damage, but we don't care, we just need a lot of resonance of our main damaging ability, and it's of course cold. What you need to know that resonance is capped at 100, so basically with maximum resonance of cold type we get 16% more elemental damage on top of all our extra damage. And for supports on Trinity I'm just using Cold Mastery, Lightning Mastery and Fire Mastery. So for this build I took Amazon, but actually you can play Ritualist pretty fine. Still, there's a nice reason to pick Amazon, and that's exactly this branch. Because we get increased skill speed, we get 50% more damage against enemies with open weakness. And open weakness is the stuff on top of enemy health bar when you're fighting bosses, and you will see it in the last part of this video when we fight boss. Extra skill speed as well as increased movement speed while somewhere nearby is enemies with open weakness, as well as kill speed. That's basically the way how we circle around us so fast. So now, quick look at our starting pass basically. We're going with attack damage, and then we can go for attack speed. If you like this quick whirling slashes, you can go for 16% more attack damage, but I like this attack speed, no attacks actually. So then we're getting more attack speed, more area of effect, and then it's optional. You cannot go over here, but whatever. I like this part to have more dexterity, evasion rating, and movement speed. I like movement speed. Then, most critical note for our build, Stalk and Leap. We increase our melee damage if we dealt projectile attack in past 8 seconds, and projectile damage will be increased if we dealt melee hit in past 8 seconds. So that's how combination works basically. We're doing melee hit with our circular ability with whirling slash, and then we're throwing down twisters, which is projectile attacks, and therefore we improving our damage of twisters all the time by hitting melee attacks. Next up, over here we got another one. We will have ability for projectiles to fork off enemies if we dealt a melee hit recently, as well as increasing projectile damage if we dealt a melee hit in past 8 seconds. So that's kind of the same damaging multiplication like here. That's pretty insane. And as you can guess, the most important part for us is attack speed. The more attack speed, the faster we spin, faster we're doing our combos, and more smooth our gameplay is. So this one we're definitely taking for more attack speed, projectile speed, and accuracy rating. And accuracy rating will be important for us later on, because later on we can level up bottom branch on Amazon to increase accuracy rating, and chance to hit with attacks will be able to exceed 100%, and we will gain an extra critical hit chance based on our excessive accuracy. That's really like big part also. We get attack damage and also increased elemental damage with attacks, and increased area of effect for attacks. It's like insanely good, with also ability to penetrate resistances. Another big increase for elemental damage, and this is like, I like this part. It gives us so much damage. We're not standing away, as I told you, we're standing in the melee range most of the time. We are pretty protected. We will deal extra damage in enemies within 2 meters. As well as increased critical damage bonus against enemies who is close. And we will deal increased damage with hits against enemies within 2 meters. That's the biggest one against bosses. If you're planning to never fight bosses, actually you can even go for long range damaging ability and just spam twisters from the long range, but again, for full combination you want to stand in close range. Then we're taking this attack damage and movement speed and chance to maim on hit. We're basically spinning around, we're maiming enemies, they are slow, we are fast. And that's one of the like super important notes, but don't take it early. When you're just campaigning, when you're not on maps, when you're not doing your combos right and correctly all the time, you will actually benefit from your buckler, from your shield. But if your offhand is empty, with this note you will get instant 25% more skill speed, and that's a big improvement for our build, but be careful with this. And basically we're taking all spear nodes besides this one. We don't need this increased accuracy, actually it's not too much of a bonus. We're taking on like critical hit chance, damage, and other stuff, and we're definitely checking and taking this accuracy, because accuracy will be increased based on our attack speed, and that's one of the key notes right now. Also, if you find yourself that you're not freezing enemies often and you want to do it, what I recommend you to do is to pick these 5 points over here to increase stun build up and freeze build up. It helps against bosses and some enemies, but then we're getting some movement speed, evasion rating, and as you can see mostly we're focusing on damage, but our damage is our combination. Therefore we're going over here and getting 25 dexterity and getting left part to increase attack speed, dexterity, and we will increase attack speed per 25 points of our dexterity by 1%. It's really like big one. And that's for level 60, like 6 or something like this. Where we go next? So where we go next? There's a lot of juicy critical damage nodes over here, a lot of cool stuff, but what we want to do right now actually, before we go into critical hit part, basically we want actually to gear ourselves and get ourselves nice defenses. And you all know, best defense is the offense as always. Still, here is nice evasion rating and stun threshold. It's really nice since we're going into melee range, we want to evade enemies a lot. And we can have evasion rating over here, and also we will increase our dexterity, that's a big one. Also 100% increased evasion rating from acute body armor, and basically you're done. Your defenses is almost perfect from this point. But there's nice and cool notes over here that we will go later. We can increase our attack damage and ability to blind enemies on hit. It will be good damage buff for us. As well as this part over here. We take it after red one. So we will increase damage with hits against blinded enemies, and that's a big one. It's another damage improvement against these blinded enemies. Just in case you got some gear that also give you ability to fry your enemies with ignite, maybe to shock your enemies, maybe you get some nice like lightning damage on your spear for some reason. You better have cold with this, but lightning also okay. And if you're shocking enemies and do something like that, then just invest 3 points and get a chance to shock, increased elemental damage, and then increase damage for each type of elemental ailment on enemy. That's a big one. I'm not investing here because I'm going full cold build. And from this note, basically we're going into Monk tree, we're getting skill speed, we're getting critical damage bonus finally. And after that you can just go for best critical nodes. This cluster over here will be nice. And this one, of course, is a big one. If you got enough spirit to activate Herald of Ice, then definitely go invest 2 points here and take this Herald part. It's really big one. And that's it for passive skill tree. So, gear. Gear is important, but as I told you, you can play it basically from the get-go right after the campaign finishes. So let's take a look at our amulet first, and amulet is the key to activate this build, because by the end of the campaign you will have 100 spirit, and it's enough to only activate Trinity. Trinity is a great buff, but you need 30% more spirit to activate Wind Dancer, so you need amulet with spirit or armor with spirit. If you got amulet with spirit and armor with spirit, I don't have one yet, then also you can activate Herald of Ice, and while being affected by Herald, take this Herald passive tree. So what is our gear? Basically we're going for full dexterity build. Full dexterity, that's it. We won't have enough intelligence to build nice energy shield. We won't have ability to go into big energy shield nodes. We will have ability to get a little bit of energy shield from the monk part, but basically just build dexterity on this character, that's it. We want to evade all hits and melt enemies with just few twisters, that's it. Main key, of course, to clear tier 15 maps is to have resistances. Another important part of your gear can be gloves, because gloves can give you increased attack speed. Also boots that will give you increased movement speed, and you want it as high as possible for this build to move faster on the maps. For belt, I just recommend to find good utility belt, and that's it, with nice resistances. And for rings, you want to increase your cold damage, and technically that's it. Extra cold damage on hit, extra life, and basically you want to have around 2.5k life to be able to comfortably clear tier 15 maps with this build. For my spear is this spear from campaign still, and it got nice roll of physical damage. But what you're looking on spear is basically the stats. On top you want to have increased physical damage, you want to have added cold damage, and you want to have increased elemental damage. On the bottom you want attack speed, critical hit chance and critical damage. This will be best in slot spear. So, boss fight. The best boss fight if you're able to actually generate rage before. So if you're playing like Sikamas, if you're playing Chaos, that's the best strategy. And just try to cast your spell from the melee range. Don't get hit by these slams. And when you're hitting bosses, when they're on this funny red health, you will do a combination a lot faster. As you can see, our stun build up is really good with these nodes on passive tree. If you need to stay away a little bit, but try to come close to attack and then run away, run around the bosses, and they won't be able to hit you almost never, basically, if you do it like that. Oops. If you're scared, you actually can run away and fight like that. Tornadoes will eventually hit the boss, and that's the funniest part about this build. Yeah, well, it's best when we are standing in the melee range. If you're scared a little bit, just throw tornadoes from the long range. He helped me with the ice ground, and look at his health. We're standing, removing this bro from existence. That's how your first fights will be against bosses. If you want to see insane late game-ish and full version of this build, make sure to leave a like and comment for this video, and I will do it pretty fast. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next videos.